Ever get to the airport, see all these cars in the queue, but when you look around, just something doesn't seem right? Well, GPS spoofing is a known tactic that a lot of drivers do. Well, guess what? I'm going to go in this episode, I'm going to explain a little bit in detail what GPS spoofing is, and I'm also going to explain why it doesn't work. Now, Jacksonville Airport, we're a smaller airport. Usually there's only about 45 people. You can look right here. There's like 65 people when I got there. When I looked around, there definitely wasn't 65 cars in line. So guess what, guys? Stay tuned for this episode. I'm going to explain what GPS spoofing is, why it doesn't work, and why it hurts all of us honest drivers, and actually why it clogs up the system. It's misinformation, and I'm about to prove it. So stay tuned, like and subscribe, and let's get into this episode, guys. So I get to the airport the other day, and I checked the Gridwise app. That's one thing I always promote. Gridwise, it's an affiliate link. I do appreciate the people that have downloaded it, because I can tell, and I do appreciate that. But what I say is, I check Gridwise. I know when the airport's busy. Now, when you look at Uber, it's going to say it's busy. It's going to say all this, but it does not tell you how many people are landing. Gridwise does. So if I'm going to the airport, I know there's a good chance it's busy, and that's why I'm going, unless I have a ride. So if I don't stay around that airport, obviously there's not going to be a lot of people landing, or there's too many cars there. But when I went there the other day, there was about 600 people landing in about a half hour. There wasn't really anybody landing when I got there, but I was like, you know what, I'll wait. It's not too long. Well, guess what? I get in line, and you can look right here, 65 people in the queue. Well, guess what? I've been in Jacksonville for a year and a half now, or 2 years, and I've been doing Uber for about a year and a half. I have never seen 65 people in the queue at Jacksonville. Now, I've been to Orlando Airport, Gainesville Airport, Palm Beach Airport, and Miami Airport, and Daytona. I've been all over the place. Miami, Orlando, 150, there's tons of people. But Jacksonville, where our airport is not that busy, 65 people in the queue? Come on now. When I looked around, there's hardly anybody there. That does not make any sense. Now, we do have a Walmart parking lot. There is a couple places you can hide. You can go to the gas station. You can go here. All of that. So that is something, you got to keep in mind. But at the same time, 65 people, that doesn't make sense. So that's when I started to think, what's really going on? Well, I'm going to go into that right now for you guys. So think about it. A lot of times when I get to the Jacksonville airport, as soon as I get in that queue, as soon as I'm getting off 95, it tells me go straight to pick somebody up. Now, it doesn't always give me a ride I want, but it does give me offers. So when I pull off and I get in there and there's 65 people in the queue, which is definitely odd, and then I look around, there's not that many cars in that one little spot. There's probably like 15, which is a little bit more than normal, but there's definitely not 65. That makes me wonder, what's really going on? Well, I do remember some stuff, because you got to understand, I do a lot more research now. When I see something, or when something happens to me, it leads me down another rabbit hole, and I'm going to show it to you guys, because I want to expose all the little things that are going on, and I also want to help you guys. So sometimes exposing stuff is something I have to do. Well, GPS spoofing is something, and I had seen something about this a while back, but I really never paid no attention to it, because being at Jacksonville Airport, there's only usually about 25, 35, 45 people in the queue. Never really have any issues. Even when it's super busy, it's really not that hard to get a ride. Or maybe people are watching my episode and seeing Jacksonville's underrated, now they want to drive around. I don't know, but I don't know if that's, I definitely don't know if that's the thing, but I just wanted to throw that in there. But I just want to say is, with Jacksonville, it's a smaller airport. The most people you're ever going to see landing at one time is about 1,000 people, and that's when there's a lot of delays. That's usually going to be around 9 or 10 o'clock. Definitely not going to be at 6 o'clock in the afternoon or 7 o'clock at night. I think it's like 7 o'clock was when this was. So it was like, no, it's 8 now. So yeah, it was about 6:30, something like that. Whatever it says on there, that's what it was. But just to go to show, that time there was only about 500 people landing. Right before that, 30 minutes when I got there, there was literally 27 people landing. So that doesn't make any sense. Now, does everybody follow Gridwise? Does everybody know what's going on? No, everybody just assumes, oh, it's the airport, it's busy, it's a great place. Well, as you'll see, I left. I'm not hanging out. I'm not waiting. I'm not dealing with it. But the thing is, and what I want to explain is GPS spoofing. Now, a lot of you guys probably go on the internet, you go on Reddit, you go on these different websites. I understand. You're looking up information, you're trying to find ways to hack the system. Hey, I make videos for you guys too. But the thing is, some of these things are misinformation, disinformation, and some of these things are just scammy, plain wrong. I don't agree with them. Now, one thing that I always promote is stuff that is going to help us out, but at the same time, it's not anything that's going to do anything wrong to the passengers, scam them, or any type of stuff like that. Catching a surge, all that is something that Uber offers that gives us a better cut. That's what I try to do. But I do not agree with people trying to go try to pick somebody up, drive off, act like you're there, and then collect a cancellation fee. You look at my cancellation rate, it's super high. Yeah, why? Because I'm trying to keep a surge. I immediately cancel, and I do that. I don't ever cancel on people. I don't ever leave people hanging. I don't do stuff like that. I don't promote stuff like that. I don't agree with stuff like that. Well, GPS spoofing is something that people probably see in bigger airports. Say you're in Orlando, you got 150, 200 people in the queue. Sometimes that queue's full. I've been there. I've sat in there and that queue's been full, and literally I still get a ride like that. So GPS spoofing is one of these things that they came up with a while back, where you can download different apps. And I'm actually gonna pull up the app. I'm gonna put it on the screen. So I'm gonna do a screen recording so you can see what it is. Now, I get all my information from Perplexity AI. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. If they want to, that'd be great, but I'm not. That's what I used to do all my research. I'm not really a fan of ChatGPT. It's not really a fan. It's just, this is what I use. This does me better. This is what I use. So when you go right here, I'm going to do the screen recording so you can see it live with me. Now it's on the screen recording. Now you're going to go to the first thing they showed me. And guess what it is? It's called Apps to Go, I believe. No, it's called Anygo. Now, Anygo is a GPS spoofing app. Now, GPS spoofing app, that's how you can make any Uber trip with Anygo. Now, that's a tricky way to do it. Now, this is not something I promote. This is for educational purposes. I'm using this as a reference to show you this is what you do not do. Now, this lets you change your location. Now, I don't really quite understand why you'd want to do it. Like, okay, I could teach you how to catch a surge. You could take it with you, and you can go wherever you want, and you can make some money. Why would you need to do this? So what people are doing is they're going and doing Lyft. You're doing multi-app. Now, there's nothing wrong with multi-apping. I understand it, right? I got a Lyft account. I just don't use it that much. I do mostly Uber. It's a little bit more easier for me to do than Lyft. Lyft, I just don't like it. It doesn't pay us that much. But so what they do is they GPS spoof with the Uber app. So they're probably having an app like this. There's probably some other ones. I don't know all of them. I'm not going to list them all. There's no reason to. I'm not promoting them, so there's no reason for me to list all of them. Just using this one as an example. Anygo, you can basically take it and you can GPS spoof your location as if you're sitting at the airport in the queue. Now you're off giving a ride with Lyft. Maybe you picked up somebody from the airport with Lyft. Now you're taking them down the road, you didn't go too far. Now you're in the queue for that. So now when somebody goes to pick you up, or you get a ride with Uber, so basically you got a ride with Lyft. This is what I'm assuming. This is an example. Never done this myself. Will never do this myself. I don't do stuff like this. I don't promote stuff like this. I do not like stuff like this. That's why I made this episode. But say you got Lyft, you're taking a ride. Maybe you take one from the airport. Maybe you take one from Walmart, whatever, because you're in a Walmart parking lot. You're probably not trying to go too far. So you're just trying to do something, make some money while you're still in the queue. So then you get a ding. Now you get a ride you want. You take it after you drop that person off. Now, normally when you leave Walmart to go pick somebody up, it's going to be in about 5 minutes they're going to have to wait. Well, these people are probably sitting there like, why am I waiting 10 minutes? Why am I waiting 15 minutes for somebody to come pick me up at the airport when the waiting lot should be right there? Well, probably because they're not in the waiting lot. They're down the road somewhere dropping somebody else off with Lyft. Then they accept the ride. Now they're coming to pick you up. Now, why would they do that? Well, they're trying to make money. I understand that. I respect the hustle, but I respect the hustle in a respectful way, not in a scammy way. And to me, that is a scammy way, because what you're trying to do is you're clogging up the system, but you're not there. So other people like me and someone else that are sitting there in the queue trying to get a ride, now we're behind you because you're not even there. You're off giving a ride. So if I want to do a ride and if I want to go to the airport, I understand that. And I even showed you could take a surge to the airport and add to the ride, but I explained to you what it does and that it might charge more money. Now, that's not proven, so that's why I say, but I told you there's backdrop, I told you there's some drawbacks to it. Basically, it's going to make you wait longer for a ride. Sometimes it pretty much defeats the purpose. And that's why I told you, sometimes that little bit of surge is just not worth it. Now, I didn't really know you could do that. I kind of did it by accident. That's how I learned a lot of this stuff. But I still try to share it with you guys. It's up to you. Something like this, I don't really agree with. I don't promote. And this is why I'm showing, because I'm trying to explain to you guys that this is not actually going to work. What it's doing, our system at Jacksonville is so small that it is actually clogging up the system. I got to turn off this screen recording. But what it is it's clogging up the system. It's not really helping you get a ride that's faster, that's farther. All it's really doing is making it harder. It seems like there's more cars there. It makes our rates go down. So that's one thing you guys don't realize is now it seems like there's more cars there, even though there's not. And so now Uber feels like, okay, well, I got more drivers there, so we don't have to pay as much. There's not going to be a surge, and there's not going to be, the rates are going to go down, because Uber's feeling like, oh, I got more people are coming to the airport now than we had before, so we can lower the rates because now they're more desperate. Because you've got to realize what Uber's going to think is, well, there's more drivers at the airport. There's more of a pool of people. Obviously, some of them are probably new, so we're just going to throw rides out there. Bam, 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 cheap, 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 cheap. And then people take them because you're desperate, because you've been sitting there too long. You've been sitting there for 30 minutes. You've been sitting there for 45 minutes. Now, the longest I've ever had to wait, it's like 30 minutes. But usually, if you see me waiting there any longer than that, it's probably because I have a reservation. Otherwise, I'm gone. You seen earlier today, I left. I'm not sitting there. There's 65 cars. There's only 500 people landing. I guarantee you not very many I'm going to order an Uber. I'm not going to sit there and wait. It's not worth it. So I try to explain that to you. I just want to show you that. But let me break it down a little bit more for you. That's just a little bit on my opinion. That's just an app that they use. Let me explain some more detail about what they do. So when you're doing spoofing, you're thinking, all right, I can go give a ride and then I can still be in the queue so I can make more money. Now, I'm always for the hustle. I respect the hustle, but that's not fair to the other drivers that are sitting there waiting for other rides. But even that, it's not trying to whine about it or whatever. The more thing is what you're doing is Uber is thinking there's more drivers, they're going to lower the pay. So really what you're doing, it's not necessarily about, oh, I'm whining because I got to sit there and you're trying to work the system. But I always teach these videos about working the system too. It has nothing to do with that. More so, it's about that you're actually lowering the rates for us. You're hurting the other drivers. What you're trying to do to help yourself is actually hurting you too. You just don't realize it. What you're doing is you're clogging up the system with all these spoof rides. Now, you've got to be careful too, is Uber is actively working the detective stuff. So honestly, that's going to eventually say they detect and they figure out that you're using a third-party app or whatever. I don't know how they do it, but I'm sure they're working on it. They got ways. It's not that hard. Certain apps, I remember Maestro, they've already kind of weeded that out. I never used it, but I remember people doing it because they wanted to clear out certain rides that they didn't want, blah, blah, blah. It's really pointless. I can show you how to do stuff like Maestro does, but you can do it without it. You don't have to worry about getting in trouble for a third-party app. But say Uber catches you with that. Now your account's deactivated. What are you going to do? Well, it doesn't really help, does it? So it defeats the purpose. So what are these drivers doing? You always see these guys sitting at the airport. Like, I've started to notice, like, what are these guys just hanging out at the airport? I did see a few Uber Black and Black SUV, which I haven't seen in a while. And surprisingly enough, there's definitely not a market here for it. So I'm really kind of surprised you even would bother doing it. But as otherwise, if there was a market, I would actually be doing it. But there's not a market. I don't really feel like going to Orlando or anywhere right now to do it. Eventually I might, but honestly, it's not really worth it right now. So I'm just going to kind of wait it out and see. But to see that makes me wonder, there's some new people, but at the same time, really, is there some new people? Because I have had people that do take Uber Black, that do it in Orlando, say they have a hard time getting it here. That's why I never did it. But what a lot of drivers do too, and I want to go more into depth, is, well, if you ever see them sitting there and they're just hanging out, and you're wondering, why are they hanging out when you're in Jacksonville? There ain't but like 35 people. It never takes me that long. Even in Orlando, I'll see guys hanging out playing cards, and I'm like, look, I just pulled up here. I'm not even from here, and I get a ride like that. I'm not platinum. I'm not diamond. I'm not advantage mode. I'm none of that, and I still can get a ride quick. And most of them are pretty decent. Now, sometimes I'll get a ride real quick. It ain't that good. I have to deny it. I might even have to circle back around and come back, but I'm still going to get a ride just as easy as you are. But what these guys do, and you'll see them with multiple phones in their hand or looking at their phones, is what they have is they'll have friends or they'll have family that sign up for Uber. Now, these people do not drive for Uber, but they have their account. So what they do is they'll have a picture or something, because you can pretty much probably scan your picture or something to get away with your using your account. I'm not 100% positive on that, but pretty sure it might work. Not 100% positive, but if it makes them take a picture, I'm pretty sure there's a way around it. Maybe they phone call, I don't know. But these people are going to have multiple phones, and what they're going to do is they're going to have an extra account, so they're going to act like they're sitting there. That boosts the queue too. So not only are they GPS spoofing, but they're also got multiple phones with multiple accounts, and that's how they do the multiple accounts, because the multiple accounts isn't them sign up with multiple accounts, because you can't have multiple accounts for yourself. Now, you can have one for Lyft, you can have one for Uber, you know, all that. Now, Uber and Uber Eats are the same entity, so you can't have two multiple accounts. You only got one. Well, what they're doing is they're getting their wife, their girlfriend, their brother, their cousin, their son, their daughter, whoever's of age, able to do it, get them to sign up for an account. Now, when they sign up for that account, they'll have an extra phone that they pay for, something cheap, something that's not really that expensive, probably bought one off of a marketplace or whatever. And what they're going to do is they're going to sit there and use that account, and they're going to act like they're in line. Boom. They're going to turn it on. So that GPS for that location is showing that account. Okay, they don't know it's a car, but it's just showing it sitting there. Now, they're not going to actually pick up a ride on that account. They're just keeping that account there as it's taking a spot in line. That way, it creates there's more drivers than there actually are. So really, in reality, it doesn't really help, because you're like, okay, there's more people in line. Now I'm in line. It makes it look like it's busier than it's not. That's why when you get to Jacksonville, say, oh, there's all these drivers. But what a lot of you guys don't understand is doing that actually will drop the prices, because Uber tracks all that. Uber's going to know, okay, we got all these drivers, but we only got these riders, so we can lower the price because we have more people to send it out to. Somebody's not that bright, they're going to take it, or somebody's that desperate, they've been sitting there. We know they know your data, so they know how long you've been sitting in the queue. They know how many rides you've done that day. They know how much money you made. So say you've only made 20 bucks. Say you live 30 minutes away. Uber knows all that information. It's got all that data. So what's Uber going to do? It's going to lower that price that it sends to you, because it figures you're desperate. It knows you're desperate. It knows your habits. It knows if you're a platinum driver, if you're a diamond, if you're taking every ride, it's going to send you something cheap because it knows you're going to take it. So when you guys add all these cars, all you're doing is actually lowering the price on everybody else. So you're not even just hurting me, you're not hurting the other driver, you're actually hurting yourself, and you don't realize it. So that misinformation, all that information you get about spoofing, thinking it helps you at different airports, really, especially in Jacksonville, it's actually hurting not just us, but it's also hurting you. So that's why I'm trying to make you guys understand. this spoofing technique, these multiple account techniques, this really not doing you no good. It's doing nobody good. It's really defeats the whole purpose, and it hurts the whole system by clogging it up. That actually decreases the chances of a surge. If you have noticed, Jacksonville Airport really hasn't had too many surges lately because of the fact that there's probably a bunch of spoofed accounts. There's not that many people needing to ride. So now Uber's like, well, there ain't no reason for a surge. We don't need to draw any more drivers there. We got plenty of them, when actually they don't. Because if you got one driver that's got 2 or 3 phones, so there's 3 drivers, times that times 5, that's 15 drivers, but there's only 5. So now that 15 drivers, it thinks there's 15 drivers, but there's only 5. Well, that could have increased the surge because it could have drawn 15 drivers there, but now it's thinking it's got enough when really it don't, because as soon as you get that good ride, you turn off all the other ones, you log off, and you drive off. Now all of a sudden there is no cars, and that's why there is no surge. That's why the prices drop. And then everybody wants to complain. You want to go on Reddit. Why are these prices so low? Why does this take so long? Airport sucks. This sucks. Why do you think I like dealing with reservations? At least with that reservation, I know how much it is. I know what time I got to be there, and I know what I'm going to get. I don't have to worry about none of that. What am I going to get? How much is it going to be? I don't have to worry about none of that. All I have to do is show up, sit there for a minute, pick them up, take them home, and then go drive around wherever I have to drop them off at, or I'm done for the night, go to the gym, whatever. So that's what I try to explain to you guys. All that stuff you're doing is really hurting everybody. Trust me, it's not worth it. Spoofing the system does not work. It defeats the purpose. It lowers the rates. It doesn't just hurt me, doesn't just hurt other drivers. It hurts you too. I don't want to sit here and look like I'm trying to complain. I'm actually trying to educate. I'm trying to show you guys why you're misinformed about something. You think it works when really it's actually backfiring. It's actually not working. Now you guys got to think, spoofing might have worked about a year ago or so, but now with AI, with different tools, and the fact that Uber has caught people catching on, already knows it because of the internet, whatever. Like, I'm not here trying to blow up something. I'm just here just trying to say, look guys, what you're doing, what you think's helping you is actually hurting you. Like me, I'll go up there, I'll get it right, or I'll just leave and go somewhere else. It doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to explain to you guys is you're up there hanging out, trying to clog up the system, trying to spoof, thinking you're going to catch this unicorn and all that. Most of those rides from the airport really aren't that worth it anyways. Like, you guys are really just wasting your time for no reason. And I'll try to show that, try to explain that. Whether you care or not, I don't know. Whether you believe me or not, I don't know. All I can do, make a video, explain how I feel about it, show you some evidence, see, and then break it down for you, and then let you decide. If you believe me, or if you think it's right or whatever, I don't know, that's on you. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's whatever. At least I tried. That's the thing about it. At least I tried to tell you, try to warn you, because they are cracking down. What you're going to risk doing is getting your account banned. Then what are you going to do? How are you going to go drive? You're going to use your cousin's account or your sister's account? Because I doubt that's going to work when you show up and you're supposed to be Jenny or Crystal or whatever. You can't be a guy and show up and it's a girl's account. People are definitely going to flag it. It's definitely not going to work. You're not doing deliveries. So that's why I try to say, if you're driving, why risk losing your account to do something that is not actually helping you in the first place? A lot of these things on the internet, sometimes you have to be careful with, because they are misinformation or they're outdated. Maybe they did work years ago. And one example it shows is the fact that Chicago Airport and some of those bigger airports, O'Hare, I think it's O'Hare Airport. Now, spoofing did work, but they cracked down on it big time because you had 200 people in the queue. But when you got Jacksonville that literally only has 35, 45 drivers, and then you look around, there's like, where's everybody at? And there's a couple people sitting in a chair. They've been there for hours because I did 2 or 3 trips. It's like, what are you sitting there waiting on? Because you're definitely not Uber Black. You're definitely not getting that many reservations. I mean, what are you doing? Reading the paper? Might as well do it at your house. Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, that's one thing I could never understand, especially when I go to Orlando. Why are these guys playing cards? Like, what are you doing playing cards at the airport? Like, do you have a reservation? Like, even if I have a reservation, I'm playing on my phone for a minute and then I get them and I'm gone. But if that reservation's taking too long, they're definitely not paying me enough money to sit there over too long, because I'm out of there. That's just not gonna, because I've sat there where it's like, oh, it messed up, and what did I do? I left. I'm like, you know what? I canceled that reservation because it wasn't worth it. You're not getting paid that much money to sit there for that long. So when you've got multiple accounts that aren't yours, that are fake, that are your friends or family or cousin, sister, wife, whatever, and you're using that to add a space to kind of get you an extra ride, really what you're doing is you're lowering the rates. Then you're also clogging up the system, making it slower for other people that show up to try to get a ride. You know, it's not just about you at the end of the day. It's not just about me. It's about everybody. Now, there's plenty of to go around for everybody. Everybody can make money. That's why I send you guys these tricks. I've had people complain, talking about, oh, why are you talking about this? Why are you saying that? Why not? What am I supposed to do? Keep it to myself? Well, no, that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to share it with you guys, and I'm going to show you what works, how to do it, as long as it's something that's legit. When it comes to spoofing, you think I'm going to sit there and say, look, guys, this is what you do this, and we can make some money? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to expose it. I'm going to show it as an example, say, look, this is something you do not do. That's because I don't think it's right. I'm always going to stand up for what I believe is right. And if it's wrong, I don't agree with it, I definitely am not going to promote it. I'm definitely going to say something about it, because it definitely needs to be said. And I'm sure other people probably feel the same way I do, especially if they're from Jacksonville, because they probably noticed it. Because I've been doing this for a while. I've been driving. I was diamond for a while. I was doing all the other stuff I didn't even realize that wasn't doing no good. I've done all that. I know how it is. But that's the thing about it, is I've seen everything. I've been around long enough now. I've done enough rides now to know something's wrong. I can feel it. And as much research as I've done lately, it's not that hard to figure it out. But I just want to show you guys, spoofing does not help. It does not work. It defeats the purpose. And all you're doing is making less money for yourself. Now, you go do a Lyft ride and you're in the queue for that, for Uber, and you figure, okay, I'm making some money. What are you gonna make, like $10? Because you can't really go that far. So that little $10 you made, is it really worth it? Then you gotta drive and go pick up somebody for Uber. You know how many things could go wrong in between there? Like, doesn't really make sense to me. Like, I'm all for trying to make money, but that really honestly doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how are you making any money doing that? Now, maybe there's more to it that I haven't found out yet. Maybe there's something else, but it definitely can't be working that good. I just think people are doing it because they figure, oh, I'm going to do it. It's making money, but you don't really realize you're not really making money, and you're actually making it worse. Because one, you're decreasing the chances of surges. You're clogging up the actual queue to where it makes it harder for people to get a ride. And then three, you're wasting your own time by sitting there. Now prices are coming, they're coming lower because Uber feels there's more people there. And I try to break this stuff down just to explain it to you guys, because I guess sometimes, and I'm sure that's what it is when you don't really look at the whole picture and it's not broken down for you, you don't really understand it. You just read something online, you think it's great, but just because somebody online always says something doesn't mean it's right. At least I can sit there and break it down and show it for you. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure I'm right when I'm breaking it down and showing it to you. It's not that hard. I got screen recording on by accident, but you know, it's not that hard to do a little bit of research and figure it out. It's just I had some time to try to figure it out. Got a little aggravated because I'm like, I get to the airport, what are all these people in line for? There's definitely not that many people here. There's people standing around looking on your phones. It's like, I don't understand what you're doing. I'm not trying to call you out. Otherwise, I'd just show the camera and show you. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not that kind of person. But the problem is I just want you guys to realize trying to spoof, trying to do this, really is not doing no good. Really what you're doing, you're hurting yourself just as much as you're hurting everybody else. It's not that hard. It's actually a pretty easy airport to navigate. It's a pretty easy airport to deal with. And there can be some money made here. But if you don't do it correctly, then you can't make no money. It's hard. So just saying, spoofing, it's not the way to go. I definitely don't agree with it. And all you're doing is clogging the system up, lowering the chances of a surge, and then you're actually lowering the prices of the fares. Because you always got to remember, Uber has all that data Uber knows how much battery power you got. They know what your charge is. They might even know how much gas you got if it's linked to CarPlay. I don't know, but there's probably a good chance I wouldn't put it past them. Probably depending on how new of a car you got, what type of car you got. There's a good chance that they know your charge. They might know how much gas you got. So that all those factors, Uber's going to use to manipulate you, just like they use to manipulate the driver or the riders when it comes to prices. So at the end of the day, stop doing all the spoofing. You guys are wasting your time, and you're really wasting everybody else's time. And you're lowering the rates, you're hurting everybody. So if you agree with me, leave a comment. If you don't, leave a comment. I don't care. One thing about me, you can leave something negative, it don't bother me. You can leave something positive, I do appreciate it. But at the same day, so at the end of the day, everybody's not always going to agree with me. That's fine. But if you can prove me wrong, do it, and I'll man up. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not always claimed to be right, but I definitely put some effort, put some work into trying to put stuff together. So if I'm going to put it together, I'm going to make sure I know what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure I got this one nailed in the coffin. I might even have missed a little something there extra that might be new that's not, I don't know about, but there's no reason to do it. So please, guys, spoof them, especially at Jacksonville, definitely not worth it. Other airports, probably not worth it either, because really all you're going to do, I've noticed going to Orlando, going to Miami, all the rates that we get paid are a lot lower because one, people are just more desperate at taking it, and two, because Uber knows there's more drivers, and there's probably more drivers than there are riders at certain points. That means that they're going to lower the rates because they know they got plenty of people to send that price out to. So you guys always got to remember that. Last thing Uber really cares about is you or me or the rider. The only thing they care about is that money, and that's not really helping us. So like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know how you feel. But please stop with the spoofing in Jacksonville. It ain't doing nobody no good.